$50, in the nosebleeds. Some people in that building for $1,200.
That's right.
They going backstage. They got a special pass. Yeah. So I think even in that industry, they ask these three questions. It's like we filling up the arena anyway. Pareto principle. There's some 20% here that could be worth the 80%, right? And it's not just a matter of how do I squeeze more money. It's how do I provide different experiences? Right. Because if you think you're doing the same thing for everybody, I mean, yeah, that's great. But there are some folks there that want to stay after. There's some folks there that want the banquet where there's only 30 people there so they can ask questions. There's some people there that want to come and interact and shake your hand and different things like that. So, it depends on the industry, but you always got to be asking, okay, customers, but size and varying experience and transactions.
So would that be the same thing as an upsell?
Yep. Upsell. That's McDonald's. It's not, you're not just here for the hamburgers. Do you want fries with it? Mm-hmm. That's the most famous upsell that there is. So that is the upsell. They buy. And then, so for me, what it was in the beginning is, okay, you could buy my workbook. And then you get to the next page and I say, hey, we also have videos as well. And if you're a reader, that's great. But if you want to get an experiential, package that has me, a charismatic instructor, breaking it down step by step for you, you may want to get this. It's never pushy. It's just, hey, you may want to consider this. It's one of my favorite lines because I'm not much of a pushy type of salesperson. Now, one that is GoDaddy. You ever been on GoDaddy?
Yes.
They've actually gotten better. So what you experience is the watered down version. GoDaddy 7 years ago, every time I sent my aunt to GoDaddy or aunt, family member, I got about 600 domain names at GoDaddy right now, that different things that we've done. Mm-hmm. And I'll send somebody there. I say, okay, it's $8. Your domain name is $8. I don't want to see your receipt for $200. Right. You don't need the SSL. You don't need the security. We're doing something totally. You don't need the email upgrader. You don't need the But now some people do need it. But for the process that I was taking them through, I said $8 only. But it speaks to the power of upsells because someone goes through a machine like that and they come out the other end. $8 turns into $200. Now, if you need it, that's fine. If you don't have a Jermaine there, telling you exactly the thing that you need, fine. You may need to email upgrade or you may need that, right? So always make sure that your upsell is providing value, right? And make sure that I always like to do the 10X rule. I like to say what I'm asking for, I want it to be worth 10X. Mm-hmm. So if you leave being able to play X amount of songs, I'd like to say, okay, if you had a piano teacher, how many lessons would that really be? Now, there's benefits for having a piano teacher. Don't get me wrong, but it's going to cost you, $40 a lesson, $160 a month, 3 months down the road, you're in the game $500.
Right.
3 months down the road. Now, I've seen many students come to me after 3 months playing One Finger Mary Had a Little Lamb. So I'm like, okay, you got $500. You got a great teacher. Don't get me wrong, but you're still over there playing sounding like One Finger stuff. Now, did you tell me you want to play for the church or not? Or now, is this a 3 to 5 year plan, right, or can we accelerate this thing a little bit? So if you can trade $40, and that's just the church example. We got jazz examples, salsa, we got guitar, but just using that example, if you can trade $40 for a process that if you stick with it and actually do it, yes, the person, I'm not there with you. That's an upsell. We have a training where you can come on every other Monday night and you can ask us questions live, like a radio show. Okay. That's $37 a month to join the Gospel Music Training Center or the Jazz Intensive Training Center. But just the one-time purchase, yeah, $40. And if you come away playing some of those songs versus 5 months with the teacher, I can make that value comparison. Now, for some, just stick with your teacher. You need the one-on-one. But for others, you know what? I taught myself calculus on Khan Academy. I think I could probably get with this brother here. They like how my sample lessons, the free stuff, they come on board with me. And it's a simple process. I'm not doing anything fancy. It's just that I keep the people coming in. If you got 600 people coming in a day, about 20,000 people coming in a month. It's like a mega church a month, right? Just thinking real people. We like to look at the internet as this. That's a mega church a month coming into my fold. So you have to, when you get that kind of engine going, it's just not hard. I'm not even saying I'm a genius, y'all. My wife still get on me. 5 years ago, I bought something from somebody in front of Home Depot, some fake jacket. Sometimes you're so brilliant, but sometimes you're so stupid. So, I'm still gullible. I get it from my daddy. I still, I'm not the smartest guy in the world either. But at the same time, I think with a system, the system is more powerful than any of the individual people in it. Right. And that's one thing I have been able to do is build the system. So once you kind of got that going, you optimize. But remember what we said? I said, you have to know what you optimize. Otherwise, you just throwing stuff, So that's where the numbers come in. I got this one thing where I have a spreadsheet on my phone. Let me see if I could pull it up. So this is probably the most visited thing on my phone. I can see all my numbers here, and I can just scroll. I can see how many members, how many new people came in a day, how many YouTube subscribers. It said I have 452 contacts today.
Wow.
So when I say predictability, we're at about 6 o'clock, 7 o'clock. I got about 5 more hours. I feel like I'm on par for that 600. And then of those, 222 are from YouTube. And I see my leads the last 7 days. And I see how many people cancel. So here, I like to run my stuff from the iPhone. And sometimes, especially during the quarantine, I don't even get out the bed sometimes. I just have if it's something big, I'm like, I got to pick up my laptop, right? But the idea is, so you have to know what you're optimizing. So you have to have your numbers, which is the previous thing. And the process goes build, measure, learn, build, measure, learn. And so what you do here, you say, okay, I have an idea. Okay, let's build it out. But the building is just the first step. Everybody thinks they're done when they put up a website. That's just the first step. I fail just like the next person. I don't have a magic sense of everything that's going to work. I'm building it just like you. I'm coming up with some new idea just like you. Now, the difference is I have a set of things that I know. Okay, so we're going to start this new thing. They're going to go to this page. They're going to put in their email. I know what my metric needs to be for that. Okay, 20% need to give me their email. Yeah, give or take 20% give me their email. And then they come to the next page. And I think right there about 3% need to buy. That then pays for what I'm spending on the ads, and it becomes a wash. And then I get that many people in my database, and then the system churns. So it's like a scientific process of coming up with an experiment, a hypothesis, and then going out and seeing, you might say, why does this bird not fly that way? Oh, I have my guesses. Okay, let's go out. Let's observe it. Okay, this is what we came up with, and then you just repeat the process. You get better and better over time. So here's what I like to look at it. Strangers. That's what social media is. Strangers. Then they become leads. Leads, someone has given you their email address. Right? Out of that, a smaller group becomes sales. This is a funnel, by the way. Right. A smaller group becomes sales. Out of that, like you said, a smaller group become upgrades or repeat or subscribers. So a sale would be like a $40, one-time course. But an upgrade repeat, that'd be a member, paying every month or quarterly or annually. And then fan for life. This is someone who loves you so much and what you do, your mission, that they go out and tell other people. And that's the full funnel right there. And the only thing that you do is each one of these boxes creates a question. How many strangers are turning into leads? That's easy. It's easy to do. Okay, how many leads are turning into sales? That's easy to do. Sales into upgrades, and upgrades into fans for life. How do you know a fan for life? They give you a testimonial too, So we have pages that you can go to. It's just video after video, people playing songs. And what does that do? That helps your process up here because people like to see other people that look like them, that are their age and their gender and, doing it. So, and this is just another way to look at it. Lead capture, sales, order or upsell, and ascend. And then they come from Facebook and Instagram and YouTube and all that sort of thing. Here's that page I showed you guys earlier. Just a simple page. Now this is a lot. And the YouTube stats I showed you guys, guess what page they're going to? This page. Yeah, they're going to this page. If you guys go to my website, hearandplay.com, or you go to my YouTube, I think Facebook will start showing you my ads because they're like, oh, this person's interested, and you'll start actually seeing my ads. Click one of them. It'll cost me a little bit, but I don't mind. Click one of them, and I bet you're going to be going to this page. That's my point. Wow. You're going to be going to this page. It's this page. It's not anything fancier than this. This starts the whole engine. I had one time last week, the website went down, and I said, uh-oh, are we getting hacked? Was my essay that good? I don't know. Maybe I ruffled some feathers, you know. Oh, Lord. I said, is the email page up? They said, yeah, the email page is up. Okay, well, figure out the rest. As long as the email page is up, this is where it is. I could deal with anything else being down, but it's this that starts the whole process. So
what's crazy is that funnel doesn't matter what the product is. It could be Hear and Play, it could be cupcakes, it could be a message that you preach. Because I think sometimes we think because we're preachers, if I don't come up with some brilliant idea or service to sell, that I have nothing to sell. Well, the reality is you've got sermons, you've got hopefully you learn, and in this course, I'll teach you how to turn a sermon into a book. So that's a physical product. So it doesn't matter what the product is, it's the same principle.
Yes, a preacher is the most content generating person on earth. I don't know another profession, maybe except a politician or a president, that you have to come up with that much content. You know, like the president has to probably speak somewhere every night. You know, there's some preachers that preach every night, but you would hope that their products. Do you know anybody that does that much preaching and doesn't have a product?
No.
Yeah, because it's just the content begets that. So if you don't,
they don't know it's that's the issue. I think for preachers, they don't realize that it's product
because they give it away free. It's the YouTube thing. Like, well, I have so much on YouTube, and we have so much on YouTube that we produce out of this studio. But the difference is, this is what I would tell somebody hung up on that. The difference is what I tell people. I actually just sent an email out about the problem with YouTube. That was the subject line. And I sent it to everybody who's on my list that I know came from YouTube, because we track where everybody comes from. So the subject line was the problem with YouTube. I said, we live in a world where we have so much information. The problem is not information. We long past information. If my kids want to know anything, they Google it, and they're teaching it to me by tomorrow. Right. So it's not the problem. We live in a world of overabundant information. That then creates the problem of too much information. Now becomes the problem is, what order do I go in? What process do I follow? So I think what people invest in today is your unique process of looking at things. Because I can go Google, for example, I want to, on the side, I just want to learn how to program. I want to program my own app. I've been teaching my daughter some things. She likes to play Roblox. We bought a course for $4.99. See, I practice what I preach. I put my 10-year-old daughter in this camp. It was on Zoom, $4.99. 5 other kids showed up and an instructor teaching them how to turn this little Roblox, like Minecraft, these little, into where you're making your own apps and the kids are paying you. Because I'm trying to teach my daughter at 10, my youngest daughter at least, how to do it. She created a game. She's getting donations for the game, but I just wanted to plant that seed. And see, this is the other side of it. Instead of y'all asking us for money to be on the consumer side only, we give them $10 a week allowance. They spending it on the Roblox. How about I teach you how to create a game so you can earn the Roblox for yourself? See, so this process, same thing. I looked on Google. There's a lot of people teaching Roblox, but this one company seemed to have the process. It was like, does your kid play Roblox all day? It was hipper. It was hipper. Like, it got me. I was like, oh yeah, okay. Do tell. Do your kids play? Are you giving them money and they're just spending? How would you like your kids to actually, do something this summer? First of all, do something productive. And while we're in quarantine, actually stop asking for money because they're making their own money with their own apps. It was like speaking. It was like I ran in the room. I said it's $4.99. Let's sign Layla up. Because she's only 10, it was a course for me too. I'm right with her, next to her. I'm not on the camera, but I'm next to her. And they say, yeah, we want to invite your parents in for the last. I've been here the whole time. Y'all got my money. Y'all got me. Right. So my point is, this works. It's that same process. When I'm a consumer, it's so powerful that I'm on the other side of it. When it's something that I want, we can YouTube it, but it seems random to me. I can't send my daughter to YouTube and go figure it out, to go fend for yourself. So understand that, yeah, you have things that you do, but when you go to then create a product, what they are buying is the process, the process of thinking. So you may have a million sermons, but have you ever organized them in a step-by-step curriculum? You've said it all, right, but you said it maybe out of order for 20 years. Right. You know, you said it. Sometimes we do series, and sometimes you do random messages, right? For whatever that season calls for, whatever your spirit, whatever you're hearing, right? But when it comes time to do the product, now you can go A, B, C, D, E, F, G. Right. And that is what someone is buying. And then you go, I know you're covering this, but you go transcribe it, turn it into written words. Now you got your book. And
I'm going to put another P in there. They're not just getting your process, but your personality.
Oh, that's the other thing.
Yeah, absolutely.
They don't like how the other person says. That's why different styles. Look how Joe Osteen preaches. It's so different than how TD Jakes preaches or anybody else. You know, I remember growing up on Creflo. Creflo grabbed my attention. I don't know because I'm in the business and he just spoke that language to me. But see, different people will gravitate and be pulled to you. And some people just may not be feeling you, and that's okay. This is the internet. You almost want the critics. You have to have the critics. I learned this too from my mentor. Said if you don't have the critics, then you're not reaching enough people.
Wow.
Yeah, it was all, and he also told me if you don't have enough refunds, you're not reaching enough people. He told me that. Wow. Because I at one point he was like, "What's your refund rate?" I was like, "It's like 1%." He's like, "You need it to be about 10%." I said, "That's counterintuitive. What do you mean?" He says, "If your refund rate's only 1%, you're just getting everybody who already liked you. They pretty much probably didn't even have to read your website. I mean, they're just buying it and they're keeping it and they already love you. But what are you doing on your website to grab the people on the fence? Because the people on the fence, a higher percentage of them are going to refund. But at the same time, you've pulled a greater number of people from their fence. Lukewarm. What did it say about lukewarm? Hey. You pulled a lot of people from the middle to your fold. That comes with a little repercussion, but that repercussion is a metric. It's a number that you can track, optimize. And the same thing is for criticism. Now, you don't want 99 out of 100. That means that's your problem.
Shut it down.
Yeah, you do want 10, 10%, probably the same metric. I looked at my database yesterday, and there was something there that was beyond criticism. That was the times we living in today. And it made me Google, it made me search my email database to see if someone else had ever said that word. It was a racial slur. Wow. And it was the first time ever in 20 years, at least in the database I've been using, that it came up. So these are the times we're living in. That's different. Right. But 10% of just respectable people that, that are not vile and just hate you for who you are, there's going to be people that just hate you because of what you stand for. That's different, But I mean, have a real critique. Right. You do want those. Don't shine away from that. He too loud. Okay, that's fine. Somebody that likes a loud person's gonna like me. Right. He too quiet. That's fine. Somebody's gonna resonate with the introverted style. Mm-hmm. They don't want. My wife likes people that are laid back. Mm-hmm. She'll watch me and she'll be like, "You too pumped up." Jesus didn't have a place to lay his head sometimes. What you mean I'm too pumped up? So not everybody's gonna feel it. And then they come into the Gospel Music Training Center. It looks like this. That's JP, actually. That's the guy who's been with me since 2005. Came in. I think you met JP when you came to the office in Long Beach. JP, phenomenal musician. He's the one connected us with all the greats that have been through this studio. And then the last one, I know I went way over you. I know you probably like this. You're going to have to chop this up. You're going to have to chop this up. But last is multiply profits by scaling what's working. This is where the gold happens, because It's like you got your plate clear. Now you're focusing on the marketing. You have your metrics. You know what works. You're a little wiser now because you know, like the fancy website, you're going to hear it from more people than me. The fancy website is good. Don't get me wrong. Branding is great as long as you understand what it is. Branding is look good. Branding is, it's kind of like when you had the best church. I had the best church in storefronts. You know, you get in these fancy buildings and stuff and it gets all corporate. A lot of my customers say, I miss that good old praise song stuff that you teach. I miss the good old hand clapping, foot stomping, because even the culture of church, you know, has gone to the, we basically doing rock and roll music. You know, we doing rock and roll, contemporary Christian music. Don't get me wrong, we teach it. But we've seen the shift even in the 20 years. Wow. It used to be where everybody bought the God is a Good God medley. Now, depending on the church, but now people are, you know, buying the CCM, the Christian contemporary Christian music, right? So it's been a shift. So once you figure out all that, then you multiply what's working. And so look at some of these ads. Can you see this ad right here? 1.3 million views.
Wow.
He didn't went viral. No, I didn't. I bought that. We bought that. Now, did we buy the views? No. Right. The views are a byproduct of your ad working. That's the beauty of it. Remember, you started off by saying, do you buy the views? No, because Facebook's only going to show it to people that like to view it. Mm-hmm. So what you do is you buy the conversions and the clicks, but you still use a video as your means of getting the clicks. Right. So you still get the social proof of the video. You still get the 1.3 million views because that could take, I don't know how many months that takes to do, but the video still looks like, wow, that they went viral. You still get that benefit of whatever ego metric you needed. You still get that. It says about 8,000 likes, 661 comments. We'll have the 10% in there that I forgot what do they say about it? They say all kind of things. He shouldn't have that hair, you know, or something. Right? I think he has an earring, you know. He don't need to have that earring. I'm like, okay, that's the 10%. All right, good. You know, but it is, you know, you get the judgments and things like that. You shouldn't be selling a guide. So, you know, you get that, but of course I know our mission and I know our vision, and that I would have been gone a long time ago. It was up to that.
They have sensitive skin. I'm telling you.
Online, you can't.
I was on something. I don't remember what it was. And obviously we were on Facebook Live. I don't remember if it was a preaching platform or on the Word Network or whatever. Right. And it was during the quarantine and I'm preaching the gospel and my fireplace is on. And someone commented, why does he have on his fireplace in the summer? So you didn't hear about Jesus. All you know is my fireplace is on. Right. You're going to get that kind of foolishness. You can't pay attention to that.
Like, brother, did you miss the impartation? You worried about the fireplace? So yeah, you that's just the internet for you. And absolutely. You know, you're dealing with all types of people. And even when I get sucked into it, I got to remember, I said, Jermaine, you know, people are crazy in real life, right? You know, you just walk outside, you're like, okay, that person crazy over there. You know, it ain't different on the internet. It ain't so don't get all, you know, the first comment comes in and they say something off the wall or something that you didn't even pay attention to, quite frankly. You know, you get those things. But JP is on most of the ads because he's the head instructor. He wore this shirt, y'all need Jesus. Oh man. So then the atheist came out on this one.
I'm sure.
You know, and got a lot of comments on that. But all of these videos, 632,000 views, 479,000 views, 120,000 views. So that's where you can scale it then. Out of 1.3 million people, that's probably worth, I don't know, 70,000 clicks, 80,000 clicks. Wow. Of that. This ad alone probably is worth 20,000 emails on our list. Because again, we know how the numbers work. No, that don't mean 1.3 million emails. Right. No, that don't even mean 1.3 million clicks. It's a funnel. So everything starts big. So the views could be viewed as the stranger. Remember that? Mm-hmm. And then I know out of that, I'm going to get some clicks. Out of that, I'm going to get some emails. Out of that, I'm going to get some sales. Out of that, I'm going to get some subscribers. Out of that, I'm going to get some fans for life. And you just rinse and repeat that process. And the goal is to have all that dialed in so magically and beautifully that now I can go back to the top of the funnel. and I can spend money confidently,
Yeah.
knowing that it's an investment. Really, I look at
money.
Was that?
It takes money to make money, period.
It absolutely does. And if you think of the stock market, if you think of the investing in your IRA or IRA or retirement account, and people will accept 10% a year out of the stock market historically, the last 50, 70 years. So that means if I put in $100, I'm gonna have 110 at the end of the year. Mm-hmm. And I call that good. That's 10% compound growth, 7 years or so. I think money will be doubled at 10%. Mm-hmm. Law of 72, 7.2 years, right? So advertising does a lot better than that. I could put $100 on Facebook, and literally within that day, I could make back 150, 200. So compare that to the stock market. $100, I wait to the end of the year, 110. That's good as a backup long-term retirement plan. But in business, you have to think as an asset as well. So when I'm at my best, I'm looking at this also as my own asset that provides value to the world. It provides value to the world. It's also my own asset. And $100 in oftentimes will yield, $200. Now, obviously, out of that $100 profit, bills do have to be paid, right? Founders not asking for it all. Quite frankly, employee politics, I can't travel the world and expect to come back to this place intact. They didn't burn this thing down. If you're not taking care of your people. So for them to see me spread my wings and travel the world off, out of that, I'm only doing that on a percentage of what we make. It's not all coming to me because JP's living a 6-figure life. I hope he don't mind me telling. Brian, same thing. So the people that have been with me, they've been on the bus for a while, and you will be a blessing.
Right.
And that's just kingdom principle. You can't run this like the rest of the world runs it. My business would never look like Bill Gates, or even Jeff Bezos at Amazon. He's got people at minimum wage, but he's going to be a trillionaire in a decade, So there's something to be said about that. I know why people out burning stuff down because some of them fed up, but that's a whole nother story. But yeah, that's how it works. So we feed the funnel at the end. That's where you scale it. You scale what works. And that's it. You take something that's and that's a mindset as well. I don't want to go on all day, but that's a mindset as well. The difference between somebody that keeps their business at this level and this is this last step. It's like, okay, I just put $1,000 on Facebook. I actually made back 2,000. Well, high five. You did what a lot of people can't do, quite frankly. Yeah. But now it's like, we'll add a zero to that. What's stopping you from adding a zero? Is it because your market ain't big enough? Probably not. Is it because you tapped out on that? Everybody knows you now? No, probably not. Oh, you got all the people you ever going to get? No, probably not. It's just your thinking. Your budget is too limited because you're scared, So this is what I do. When I start getting scared, there was one time when I had to make the jump from, I think what month was that when I spent about $80,000 on Facebook. That was the other month, and I don't really play it like that. I don't do it like that, but I did. Let me see if I can pull up what the metrics were.
80,000. Let that sink in, people. $80,000.
Yeah, I think it was February. Does this thing keep? Oh, there we go. Let me see if I could pull up. I think it had to be February because then the quarantine hit and things got a little bit more complicated, and I had to go deal with some other things. But I'll be back there. That's why. Remember when I said and this is low for us.
Right.
What we doing a day, 600 leads a day. Oh man, we used to. It's so like I said, the quarantine is not without its victims in certain parts. But let me just give y'all an example of what I mean by scaling. I think it was February. Let's see. Was it? Maybe it was January. All right. Well, I don't want to.
No, I want you to show that because this is. You got to be able to imagine the return, if you're willing to spend 80 grand on Facebook ads, can you imagine the type of return?
Exactly.
Some of you all, first of all, some of you all that are on this class right now have never spent you never spent $1 on Facebook ads. You
Right.
tagging all your friends your cupcake. So you haven't even crossed over to the ad portion. And those of y'all who have gotten your feet wet with the ads, you can't even imagine. Jim Rohn said, if you're not willing to risk the unusual, you'll have to settle for the ordinary.
Yep.
You gotta take a risk, and that's the basis of the book that I'm working on right now.
Taking risks.
Risk is synonymous with faith. I preach a message called The Gospel of a Risk Taker, talking about Peter walking on the water. He took a risk. He didn't know what to do, but he had the faith to believe the same Jesus that's allowing me or empowering me to do this is going to empower me to stay afloat. If I've got enough faith to get out the boat, God's got enough power to keep me afloat. And
yes, sir.
People are watching this right now. You're the first entrepreneur in your family. You're the first person to start a business in your family. Peter was the first person to ever walk on water outside of Jesus. But once your feet get wet, walking on sand no longer feels comfortable to you. So you have to take the risk. Good God. And if you're not taking anything from this session, I want you to connect with someone who lives and operates at another level to see what your potential is. Because if he can, you can, I'm telling you.
Yeah, so I found it. It was actually April. I thought it was earlier. It was actually more recent. So 81,000 on Facebook from April 1st to the 30th. And we'll get back there. We'll get back there too. But yeah, when I talk about scale, I really mean, and then we probably did another 20,000 on YouTube. So it was a 6-figure advertising month. And that was back in April. Here's another example of our YouTube, 277,000, 203,000 conversions. And remember, this is the same $1.30. It's kind of like I could do that with predictability. Let me see if it's the next one. Oh, here's the next one. You can see some of our views, 727,000 views, 414,000 views. You can see the cost per conversion. See, that one video is worth 25,000 conversions at about $1 each. So I'm paying for the lead, but I'm not paying. I'm not here to put Google in business. Like y'all think I'm just giving them money? Like I don't want to. Nobody wants to do that. So the point is, you have to pay to get them in your phone. And even the 80,000 from April, I see that today. Even though like we scaled that down because of Corona had just, I think, around the beginning of April, it was getting like mid-March, but April was getting serious. And we went through that, and then I don't know what happened in like that next month, but I had to scale it back down to like 30,000 or something. But I still spend about 1,000 a day on.
What's most effective in your opinion, Google ads or Facebook ads?
There's different people that have their specialties in each. I know I spend more on Facebook, but on Google, I want to spend more. So it's like Google is different in the sense that if I put my budget on Facebook at $1,000, Facebook figures out how to spend it. I don't know, they got more inventory or whatever. Right. Like on Google, it's like I'm almost begging to spend more money. So it's like, how can I spend more? I know I'm not on every gospel video. I know I'm not on every jazz video. So Google's a little bit more tricky in terms of they're a little bit more restrictive. And even when I look at my history, Google was the one where when search engines were running rampant, like you could be on web crawler, type in anything. You type in real estate and a piano thing came up. You're like, search engines aren't reliable. 1998, right? Google came around and said, we're going to make the most reliable search engine ever. But what that did for the people showing up is like, it's hard to show up. They got some secret algorithm. So I think on YouTube, for me at least, it's harder for me to get to 80,000. Not because I don't want to, but they got some magic thing that just doesn't show you as much as you want to. Meaning, I'll put in $2,000 budget. It only wants to spend 400 of it. So it's a little bit more trickier. But if you can get it on your side, I'll say that much. It does a lot better for me. So remember, this $1, that's YouTube. Because, see, it's Google. Right. So in terms of these numbers look a lot better to me on Google. I just can't scale it as much. So I could do the $1.30 on Facebook, up to whatever,
Gotcha.
and do pretty well. So that's the difference. So, and Pareto principle is true there too. 80-20 for the most part, Facebook and Google, you'll have salespeople come and say, hey, I got this new platform to advertise on. You can try it if you want. But for the most part, Pareto, the two things that are going to create most of your results, Facebook and Google. Google, and here's the thing, Facebook owns Instagram, Google owns YouTube. So between those two behemoths, you're going to get like I said, we're still trying to master it. So you spend your time there, or you have somebody on your bus that either you get a course or something, and just have them spend all their time. And something I need to challenge myself on. What I really need to do, I have a YouTube guy, but I know that I could get a better YouTube guy. Like if I come to grips with myself, I'm letting them on the bus a little longer, because when I find myself begging to spend more money, then I need to go figure out who's out there spending more.
Right.
I literally can show you a text message from one of my guys. I'm being real transparent here.
You're not gonna get this nowhere else but at GarySprewell.com.
You're not gonna. Everything I say is I don't just be talking. Okay. Here, this is one of my I'm gonna leave it like that. So this is the person that handles my my Google. Here's a real conversation. This is what you see, that date there, June 26, 2020. That wasn't even a week ago, maybe even more. Hey guys, this is me talking. Hey guys, our conversions are going down a little bit. How can we spend more? There we go. So our conversions, what I meant by is what I told you. I said we're down to what was it when I showed you today? 300, 400 people. I want it back up at 1,000. Like we don't stop here. So I'm telling them our conversions are down a little bit. How can we spend more? Cost per subscriber looks good at $1.08. See how I'm talking in numbers? I'm not talking about feeling. Right. I'm not saying I feel like we could do better. We talking numbers here. Cost per subscriber looks good at $1.08. According to Infusionsoft, I'm getting quite a bit of rescribers and not as many new contacts created. Maybe only about 40% are new. So this is a concern. But getting 10 to 20K new contacts coming in at $1 is still the goal. Plus my bill to pursuance is higher. Win-win. Because this particular relationship I have with them is based on ad spend. So they charge 10% of what I spend. So if I spend 20,000, I got to cut them another 2,000. So you got to factor that into your cost. So when you find yourself having to beg somebody to pay them more, how can we spend more? So, nudge, nudge, my bill to you is higher, and then, I don't know the kind of, they usually give me back these responses they think I want to hear, they don't know who they're dealing with. Hey, Jermaine, agreed. Good to know about the back end data. We have been implementing changes to increase spend, but now I think we need to open up the targeting more. Targeting, remember we talked about targeting, especially for the top performing campaigns. Another thing is I've been troubleshooting an approval issue with Google Display Network. That's the banner ads. That's not YouTube, but they also can show banner ads all over the internet that I'm still working on. And I say, gotcha. And then because they don't handle my Facebook. So I sent them a little screenshot. I said, spent 83,000 a couple months ago on Facebook, then 40K at around 30K now. So I'm begging them. I'm trying to show them that, hey, I could write you a check for 8,000, which is 10% of, the ad spend. So again, what I say is I don't know if it's them. I feel like they're smart guys. I've been with them. I've been using this particular company. They're not in-house employees. You could do it both ways. You could bring somebody in.
Why are you outsourcing rather than having an in-house guy?
That might be my next move with YouTube. I've always been the marketer myself. And then when I have people under me, but not traffic guys. Traffic guys, I'll typically bring from the outside. It goes back to that traffic is a superpower. Okay. Yeah. So to bring somebody in-house for traffic is like bringing a super hero to your business. That person is either going to be more expensive than any other employee I have if they know their power.
Right.
And then secondly, they would have applied that to their own business. I'm willing to say there might be a limiting belief there. You know, you can dig through the rough for the person, but it's a hard thing to crack because if you got a superpower like traffic, you can send millions of people anywhere you want.
Right.
Like, think about how powerful that is. I know how to send 1 million people in this direction at a good price. I can write my ticket on anything. All I need is a product. So that person is so you're going to find that in people that have their own companies that charge you a percentage of ad spend. So they have like, what do you call it? Upward mobility. Right. So if this guy wants to grow with me to 100,000 ad spend a month, he can grow his fee to 10,000. He can grow to 200,000. We have no limit as long as the sales are coming in. We have no limit. So yeah, I didn't know we was going to get that involved in it, but you know,
I'm loving it.
So that's the idea. This is the behind the scenes on a real business and a real market, you know, with a guy that just had to learn this step by step, who still, you know, still got challenges, but at the same time, you know, we make it work, and this is what we do. And here's an example. Facebook, 700,000 spent last year. 722,000 clicks. No, 1.3 million clicks, but then 722,000 were unique. So some of those were repeat clicks. I kind of mentioned that to the other guy on the YouTube side as well. We reached 36 million people. I mean, no wonder people be, sometimes I'll be out and I was in Ghana, I told you, and the guy who welcomed me to the Airbnb said, "You're the piano guy." I said, "Y'all Google me." He said, "No, I've been in your system for 5 years." I looked him up. I thought he was trying to get an extra tip, try to butter me up or something, you know, try to, you know, make me feel more important. But he was literally in my system. And it's not because I'm famous or Here and Play is famous, but 36 million people a year that you flash, your face has been shown to, or JP's face in a lot of them. You know, it means something. Absolutely. But it ain't free. It ain't free.
But it is worth it.
It's worth it. It's worth it.
If it weren't, you wouldn't be doing this every single month.
No, it wouldn't be. And quite frankly, and I'm at the end, this is just a summary. Quite frankly, if I turned off my advertising, we have members that are already paying us because they're subscribers. Mm-hmm. But if you're not bringing new people in, you know, and expiration dates, it's going to be, you may be good for a year or 2 or 3. You may not even tell the difference. You still have a big mailing list. You can still send out emails. But if you're not getting fresh people in, it's going to get stale. You know, people just lose interest over time anyway. Absolutely. You know, I know I have a baby grand piano in my house that sometimes I even hardly play. You know, it's just sometimes you turn a different season in life. And you know, I know you sing all the time, but you know, go to those moments in time where you say, something I used to do so much, I don't do anymore, don't do as much. That's the same thing's true for my customers. I can't believe for 1 second that who's with me 10 years ago is going to be with me today. Some of them are, a lot of them are, but I have to be proactive. And that's the difference in business. You're either proactive or you're reactive. How many things you do today that were proactive, like this? How many things you do today were reactive? Answering the email, I'm sorry, is reactive. It's not proactive. Right. You answer something that's already happened. It's already done. You responded to it. So to the degree that you're proactive towards your future and you put these things in place, to that degree, you will continue to succeed. So knock on wood, God willing, 20 years down next month since the time you and I went to high school together. And in 20 years, you know, now I'm so old, I'm talking about passing it on to my oldest daughter. Never thought I'd be talking like that. She's 14. Wow. I'm like, I'm ready to put her on phones now. She got to learn this Griggs tradition.
She's behind schedule if we compare.
Now Layla, my middle daughter, she's right at 10 years old. I see the entrepreneurial. She's another me. You know, out of the 3, I clearly see it. They all have their superpowers. Mm-hmm. Jaden's like yoga, vegetarian, like this other world. Like, I don't know where she came from. Like, the only vegetarian in the house. I mean, we all eat healthy, but she's like there. And then Layla's the entrepreneurial one. And Brennan's like probably Michael Jackson reincarnated, because Michael died in 2009. Brendan was born in 2010. People come around. He just walks with rhythm. He didn't get it from me. but
all.
at all, unequivocally. But this is the freedom formula right here, and the goal is to make work your play. Ultimately, my business is aligned with my life in a way that they're one and the same. I don't go to work. I've never gone to work. This is fun to me. This is a blessing. This is I thank God every day that I have the ability to just be an extension of what I was as a kid. How many people get to do that? Even childhood actors resent some of that. You know, they like, my parents made me go to work. This is an extension of what I grew up doing. Gary will know I went from the piano to the pulpit to school. This is